click the links for Odysee and chute. First of all, regarding the drama, keep stuff on private phone calls, not DMs. Actually pick up the phone and have a talk with someone. Written communication seems to be absolutely garbage. If it's important, do it over the phone. DMs are how we seem to miscommunicate, because you got to hear the nuance in the voice and all that. As they say, be slow to anger and quick to forgive. Keep things in perspective. You've got clean water and food, and people think you're funny. And if you're on YouTube, somebody thinks you're funny, and you think about it, there's probably somebody fapping to you right now. Let me just say something that sounds offensive, but actually isn't. Hear me out first. I love women, lots of respect for them. I have zero issues with women, never had any issues. Women who know me love me. Everyone who knows me loves me in real life. All my exes think I am cool. But women are very emotional creatures. There is a biological difference. Women get emotional. They get emotional. They say things they don't always mean because they just can't help it. So if a woman says something dumb, even something very dumb, it sort of has to be repeated to really offend somebody, at least I think. And yes, I'm saying I hold them to a lower standard for stupid comments. I think most guys do. I'm just being honest. So this chick I listen to all the time. I've always got her stuff playing in the background. One time she said something regrettable. I wouldn't say it, and if I did, I'd just apologize and move on, because it's not the end of the world. And there is no shortage of Comicsgate Fandom Menace channels on YouTube. 99% of the people that I have interacted with are either cool, or if they're not cool, they are adults. Like, adults can realize that not everyone is everyone's cup of tea. Adults just work together to accomplish the goal. Now, there is 1% of guys on YouTube who think that being on YouTube is like being in Hollywood. Maybe if you're PewDiePie's level, but you notice that he's actually pretty mellow. He doesn't seem to have a huge ego. And people make fun of Monday and Matt all the time. I do myself, and he definitely deserves it. But he actually is pretty humble. Even before his little faux pas, he never seemed to have a huge ego. But there is a small percentage of guys who are petty tyrants. So now what I don't understand is why they're not more small channels teaming up. It seems like you've got a bunch of small channels doing live streams with a very small audience. They should just cycle through each other's shows rather than satellite around a big channel like they seem to be doing. And yeah, I realize how arrogant it is for me to give advice, but I never let ignorance stop me. I always plunge blindly ahead. So you got a guy who sounds like a little bit of a jerk. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You can just part ways peacefully. I've listened to all these chicks on and off over the years. They're all very talented. They all know what they're doing. They could all make a go of it on their own or with each other. Why do they need essentially a pimp? They are as legitimately talented as this guy is. If he's not a nice guy, then just part ways with him. But let me be clear and careful here as I navigate this minefield. You get this group of women, there's maybe a dozen who are loosely involved. I'm not saying that they should go off and do an all-girls stream, because YouTube live streams are a very delicate chemistry. No offense, you've got to have male energy to bring balance to the force. There's a magic ratio for a good live stream, and in my humble opinion, you need a ratio of more men than women. And I like all these chicks, even if we're diametrically opposed on hot takes. They all know how to talk, and they all know their business, but they need to be the pimp and not the bitch. Get guys as guests on your show. Run a train on different guys until you figure out the right chemistry. You guys have this talent pool of a dozen girls, and you're circling around a channel because it's got 200,000 subs. But YouTube is as open to you as it is to everyone else. You can build your own channels up and work together to build up the Comicsgate Fandom Menace section, or maybe if you've got this feminine energy, you discover something else you're interested in that is uniquely, I don't know. I saw you guys like moths to this 200K channel. That, in my humble opinion, is not anything special. Go find some guys who are doing smaller nerd content and in a nice way mold them to your will and make them your bitches until you can find the right energy for your channels. You gotta have male energy, so go out there and start testing out some men. Maybe some people are going to kiss your ass and say, yes, slay queen. I'm honest. You've got to have men on a stream. But now you're in the position to choose them. Oh, and I heard something about this girl who I like them all, doing a stream for a year and not getting paid. That's insane. If you go on a stream, split the money for the time you're there. Don't ever let somebody pay you in exposure. It might not be a ton of money, but like moving money around digitally is actually pretty easy. So if you're on a stream, it's like, here's your $37. Well, it doesn't take but a second to move that money around. If there are 4 people on a stream for 3 hours, you got to split the money because you're not a slave. If you don't want to bother doing the math on that, that's not a big deal. You just you alternate to go on each other's streams, and that way you don't have to do the math, and everyone can build up their own channel, and over the long run, it'll even out. Guest hosting once in a while, maybe that's not a big deal, but if you're a regular on a stream, you got to split that money. Otherwise, you should be just working on your own channel. Make videos for your own channel. Cover what you're interested in. You don't need a pimp. Make the standard daily video. Talk about stuff you want. Keep in mind, always upload your stuff on Odysee and BitChute, because BitChute is getting to be sort of a flaky platform. I don't know if it's going to go the way of MySpace, but it's moving more in that direction than not. YouTube itself is not the platform it was even a few years ago. There have been so many channels kicked off because they committed wrongthink. There were more political channels, but SJWs will just call movie reviews political. If you review a movie if you review it in the wrong way and it offends the SJWs, they'll try to get your channel deleted. They call Comicsgate and Fandom Menace a hate group because they're hoping that name will be repeated in the mainstream media and it will stick. They legitimately call EVS a Hugo Boss wearing alt-right genocidal maniac because he is a conservative who has a sense of humor. In case you don't know who he is, he's a normie who draws comics. That's it. You can love him or hate him, but he isn't a Nazi. Believe it or not, most people are not Nazis, even if they have frank conversations. The difference in the left and the right is the left, if they don't like you, they will do anything to destroy you. Anything is on the table. Nothing is off limits. They'll go after your family, which is... At some point, they should be looking around and go, like, we just make fun of this person's wife and kids. Are we the bad guys? Yeah, you're the bad guys if you're not going after the principles. When the right goes after Monday and Matt, they just call him a fat retard. But most people wish him well and success at $3 Theater because he still has kids to feed. And one thing I wonder about is why there are not more crossovers between Comicsgate and Fandom Menace. I think part of it is that people are just shy. There's this guy, John Trent, does a live stream. He's a great guy, and I do listen to his live streams, but he's horrible at live streams, and I hope he doesn't hear this. He needs some, I'll say, ladies to help him out. So there's like this dozen ladies for floating around Fandom Menace who are pop culture dorks. You guys should be DMing him, asking for links so you can go on his show and then invite him on yours. You've got 7 days a week to rotate people around. Get a calendar and start blocking off units of time. If you know that you would be a good match for someone's chemistry, then it's okay to be a little pushy to get what you both want, even if he doesn't know he wants it. Just keep pushing. You've got to break through that wall of resistance. When in doubt, use force. This guy on Midnight's Edge, I have no idea whose side of the story is accurate, and it doesn't matter because there are other fish in the sea. Why haven't Mary Mayhem, I think, and Cecil done a night together on YouTube? That came out weird. Why doesn't Mecha Random 42 go on the Jack Show every now and then? Mandy Summers is a great fit for anyone's show. She is amazing at running a show, organizing, reading the chat, handling guests on the show. She is really kind of an undiscovered YouTube talent. Well, I admit they all make better content than me. For some reason, their management and organizational skills are absolute dog feathers. Are you just dicking around on YouTube, or are you trying to make YouTube a part-time job? If you are, then you got to start treating it as such. And obviously, I'm just dicking around. Oh, and as for the issue of cancel culture, if somebody wants to go on won't go on a show because of your association with someone else, they are manipulating you. I don't care if they're a big channel. Politely disagree with them. At some point, people need to find their balls and take a stand against this Marxist manipulation, because they are controlling you, and it will never end. EVS did it with a few dozen people in Comicsgate, because I think in his defense, he was nervous and he sort of panicked. I think even he would admit that when you fight with a dozen people, the problem is in the mirror. And to his credit, he tried to make up to a lot of those folks. Everyone would have a much more relaxed life if they didn't try to control other people. Pride is a sin. Who cares? Ignore it and move on. Things get funky without guiding principles. One of Comicsgate and Fandom Menaces should be, cancel culture is for developmentally disabled bundles of sticks. Oh, but someone's Discord offended me. You should stop being a vagina. Your ancestors hunted boars with spears, and you're offended about World War II jokes. Maybe it's time to harden up a bit. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys, and I will see you all on Odysee, Gab, and BitChute.